The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Damn, damn, damn!
All right, everybody, welcome. We are back. It is Wednesday, February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. And because it is, I painted my walls red. I'm joking. Anyways, Joe is here with us today. Joe, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
Krell Bar, I believe, will
Ignore
not
the mess behind me.
Okay. It looks all right. Krell Bar will not be here, and Matt won't be here. Anything else is in question. We'll be finding out as we go along. Hopefully Jerry will swing by. I didn't hear from Jerry in the last few days, although I think I blew him off on Sunday. I'm not sure.
Where's Zim been?
Well, Zim, I just sent Zim an invite today because last week he came in and said he got a new computer, and he had messaged me a while back saying, I got to take a leave from the show until I get a new computer. And then he told me he had a new computer, so I sent him the invite. So hopefully Zim will pop in.
All right.
He's always Humpty
shorts with those sweet guitars he gets in that store. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's having a lot of fun. And
hello, Cold Roses. Hello, Johnny. We're queer boy.
So anyways, yeah, you know, it's funny this week I've been racking my brain because I'm like, you know, we had a storm here yesterday and we were told we were getting like 8 inches and we got maybe an inch here. I mean, it didn't even cover my grass.
That's what she said.
Right. You told me I was getting 8 inches and you give me an inch. You a 2-minute brother. So I was going to film a video yesterday, and then it was like, well, it wasn't that bad. And they kept on, I kept running. I just had things to do yesterday, so I didn't. But I got to do some lessons soon. And folks, if you have any ideas of songs you want me to teach, let me know. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do them, but if I like the song, I might. I have a gig on Friday this week in Rhode Island with Emily on Friday night, and then Saturday night, I'm back in Plymouth down at Martini's with AM Station. Joe, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of movies I saw getting out of the gate. 2 sci-fi movies. One was called Pandorum.
I saw that.
Dennis Quaid.
That's the one with Dennis. It's like the poor man's Event Horizon, right?
Oh, 100%. Without being as good.
But yeah, but it was okay. It was decent for, you know.
I was waiting for Dennis Quaid to go, "Do you see? Do you see?" Yeah, it was terrible. What I did enjoy about it was Ben, what's the guy's name? Ben Park. I don't know the actor who played the lead role. His girl in it, but that was his girlfriend at the time, some French actress, or Whatever she was good.
It's been a while, a long.
She was
time.
good.
See, that's what happens when a good movie comes out, like Event Horizon, and then there's a million knockoffs that aren't that good.
You know what else I watched the other day? I'll get to the other side. Well, let me get to the other sci-fi one first. The other sci-fi I watched was Breach.
What is Breach about?
It's Bruce Willis, and they're like, I gotta tell you, I'm sick of these sci-fi movies where they have to go into a cryonic state. First of all, number one, we don't know if we'll ever be able to do that. But can we stop using it in every fucking movie?
It was done once perfectly. It should never be done again. And that was Demolition Man with Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Well, it's also in Event Horizon, which we enjoy the Event Horizon.
Yeah.
But then what I love is they're like, oh, we're going into warp speed and your body can't handle it. Why? You're in a vacuum in space. You're not going to know if you're going 10 miles an hour or a million miles an hour. There's no way. So it's like, well, that's a flaw. The Breach was terrible. It was like this parasitic thing, kind of like Alien. Oh, here's Howie. Kind of like Alien.
Parasitic alien thing. Oh, here's Howie.
Exactly. Have you seen the movie Breach, Howie?
Refresh me.
It's it blew Ricky. It was Bruce Willis, and everybody else in the cast was forgettable. There was one guy that played one of the. Oh, Thomas Jane is in it.
Oh, Joe.
No,
if he's in a movie, don't go near it.
Oh, are you kidding me? I love Boogie Nights. Todd
No, he
Parker.
was good in that. He was good in that.
Introduce her to
And
my
he was
lap.
good in The Mist, but that's
I thought you liked Punisher.
that was not a good Punisher. That was shit.
Oh, you didn't like Thomas Jane's Punisher?
That was shit.
I'm watching a movie the other day, Mission Impossible. I don't know what number it would have been. I think it's the last one they came out with, which is a part 1 of something.
Rogue something?
Rogue Nation. First of all, let me tell you a couple of problems with this movie. And let me just say, first of all, Esai Morales is excellent. And why is Esai Morales not in more things? He's fantastic, especially now that he's graying.
He was on NYPD Blue, which I used to watch a lot. He was a replacement guy, but he did a good job when he came in.
I think he's great. Yeah, I love Esai Morales. So he was great in it. Esai Morales had a little Asian girl, like a blonde Asian. She was a blonde Asian girl. It was natural. It was a natural hair color. I'm joking. She like was kicking everybody's ass. And this is a problem for me in movies now where they have these women kicking guys' asses. And I don't want to sound sexist, but you could take the world's strongest woman, who's the best MMA fighter there is, and put her against the lowest seed male MMA fighter.
Which they have done.
And she might last a round. Which I think that's all they lasted when they did that fight.
Yeah.
A round. They're not doing any damage. So when you see this little Asian girl who looked like she weighed 90 pounds wet with a brick in her hand, she's hitting people and they're like taking bad hits from her. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No.
Like, this is like a mosquito. Get the hell out of the way.
That's the exact reaction. I've been attacked by dudes that are like a third my size, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Boom.
Yeah, so I can't stand that every movie has these women that's like, oh yeah, this woman's gonna knock this big guy out. No, I can suspend reality with your stupid script, but can we cut the shit now and stop trying to make like
unless it's Gina Carano, I think she get a few good shots in.
You put her up against anybody that's the worst in her class of the male, she won't last a round. It just won't happen. So, also in this movie, there was a girl who played like the pickpocket. She was like the main girl in this Mission Impossible, and she was pretty. She reminded me of the poor man's Rona Mitra. And which made me think, how come Rona Mitra wasn't in everything? Do you guys know who Rona Mitra is?
I'm looking it up. The name's familiar.
She was actually the model that they built the Lara Croft character on. She's been in a bunch of movies. She was on a TV show. But it's like, when I saw this girl, I'm like, this girl's like the poor man's Rona Mitra. Why is Rona Mitra not in everything? Did you find her, Joe?
Yeah, she really hasn't made a lot of stuff.
But do you recognize her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Great.
I knew the name. I just needed to be reminded.
Great. Hey now. Jan, what's happening? Anyways, I thought this girl was like the poor man's Rona Mitra. This movie, by the way, was terrible. Mission Impossible. The mission that I found impossible was going to see the sequel when it comes out, because this movie was terrible.
Ew.
Your mission, if you accept it, is to watch the sequel to this piece of shit. I think Rona Mitra's a good actress. I think she's good. It's just that she's not part of the Hollywood elite.
Yeah.
She probably didn't want to bang Harvey Weinstein when she had the chance. Or Weinstein, whatever his name is. Harvey Firestein. Ma, get out of the town. Ma. You guys remember him in Independence Day? Was that Independence Day with Harvey Firestein?
Harvey Firestein?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Ma,
Yeah.
get out of this. Right?
Yeah. That voice. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's like the male Carol Channing. By the way, I don't know if anyone knows this, but because somebody was saying if you saw the Super Bowl, there has never been a good halftime show. And it started because the very first Super Bowl halftime show was Carol Channing. That's the path we decided to go down. What was she coming out in the halftime show going, oh, Meryl?
Diamonds and wintergreen.
Oh, Captain Stupid. All I can remember is her on Love Boat when she goes, oh, Meryl.
That's great.
Meryl.
So, due to one of our movie lists last week, over the last, I'm going to say 2 days, I've tried so hard to watch The Deer Hunter. I'm 45 minutes in, and I don't know what the fuck I'm watching.
It sucks.
I can't stand it. I don't think I'm going to get through it. There's
so many overrated movies like that. I think The Deer Hunt, and it's long too. I mean, it's 2.5 hours? You're only 45 minutes in?
3 hours long.
Yeah, it's fucking stinks.
And I'm 45 minutes in, and all they've done is shoot pool, push each other around a parking lot. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, not good. Not good. And just real quick, speaking of Carol Channing, folks.
Hey, who's driving this buggy anywho, huh? Let me guess. Don't tell me, huh? Carol Channing.
Oh, Meryl. God. Is every kid gay before they go through puberty? Because I remember loving Love Boat when I was like 10 years old. And you go back and you watch it and you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
I'm going to tell you why you loved Love Boat. Because it was Saturday night at 9 p.m. with Fantasy Island to follow, and your parents let you stay up. So it was just
no, my parents, they had no control over us. I was up till I watched SNL from the beginning in 75. In fact, I used to stay up, let's say 1974, I'm 6 years old. Sid Caesar, your show of shows, was on at 11:30 in Boston before Saturday Night Live came on.
You're making my point is you had, even doesn't matter what age you started, you had that freedom back then to stay up. And what the hell else was there to watch on a Saturday night? There was nothing.
Actually, I enjoyed the weekdays more because at 11 o'clock on Channel 56, we had Benny Hill. That was gold.
Yeah.
That was gold. But yeah, no, but Love Boat, Fantasy Island's another one too. What's her fantasy? Yeah, we actually can't show people's real fantasies because we're a show on TV. So we're gonna make up some bullshit fantasy from this shitbag.
It was all horrible. Horrible that we were watching.
I'll tell you, it was also depressing watching Love Boat because you're watching Scott Baio hook up with Christy McNichol, and you're like, God, he's that attractive, and that's all he can get. What am I gonna get?
Yeah, I put the
Broomhilda?
What's her fantasy in the chat in YouTube?
What is it?
I put the answer to what her fantasy is in the chat on YouTube.
Yeah, right. Blacked raw.
Yeah.
I remember on Saturday nights after that, living in Buffalo, we got WOR from New York City, or actually Secaucus, New Jersey, if you want to get technical. And they used to show, it was before Crocodile Dundee, but they had the Paul Hogan show, which was like a half-hour comedy show. And he was actually really, from what I remember then anyway, really funny. And then when those movies came out, I'm like, wait, I know that guy from that TV show, and they were terrible.
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny is when Howard Stern was relevant and funny, he had the Channel 9 show out of Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lately, I was watching some of those on YouTube. They have the old Channel 9 shows, and it's great.
That's what I said WOR, that was Channel 9.
That was Channel 9. Yeah.
So, okay, I didn't know that. So the funny thing was
Racing from Yonkers, which was like a horse racing, pulling the.
Oh, I like that.
They're pulling
harness racing.
Yeah, harness racing.
The most fixed form of racing ever.
Then it was before wrestling was huge. They had midnight wrestling when it was really cheap.
Oh yeah,
and enjoyable back then.
Yeah, I used to watch.
So when I was a kid, when the Patriots played at the old stadium in Foxborough before they built the new one, across the parking lot was harness racing. We used to go down there all the time and watch them fix races. But the Channel 9 show, Howard Stern had Richard Simmons on. And Richard Simmons, it's like he's a little late getting in there. And so Stern's like, where were you, in the ladies' room? I'm fucking crying. Stern was funny, ripping on how gay he is. Yeah. It was so hysterical.
Oh, Howard!
They had Carol. That sounds like Carol Channing was there. Oh, Meryl. So the word that was one about 6 superstations like WTBS in Atlanta. They had special copyright allowing them to be carried nationally. Nice, RL. RL on the TV information. That's RL's line of work there. So anyways, but yeah, he was funny and just ripping the shit out of everybody. And like everyone was, it was just a good time back then when he was funny.
Yeah.
And, now he just toes the line and sucks. There were 50,000 watts, 10,000 volts. Have you guys heard, obviously you've heard the new Ace Frehley song?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on same?
Me?
Yeah.
My friends wrote it and played on it. So it's good.
I got to tell you, I like it. To me, it's like if you were looking for the cliche, quintessential, this is an Ace Frehley record, that's what it sounds like to me.
The problem for me was like within maybe a couple days before it came out, that second Judas Priest single from the new record came out, the one where they're in the woods in the video. And that was jaw-droppingly good. Yeah. So unfortunately, when I heard the Ace song, although it was good, it was just like, I'm comparing it to, you just naturally do that. You compare it to things from that era that you grew up with, that are still sort of relevant.
You could take the best Ace Frehley song in Kiss's career and put it up against Judas Priest, and Judas Priest is going to crush it every time. I mean,
well, not every time. I mean, I love some old Kiss stuff, but
as good as Kiss Alive is, Unleashed in the East is a better album. Discuss.
I'm way more familiar with Kiss Alive. I have Unleashed in the East. I haven't listened to it in probably 25, 30 years.
Are you? Oh my God. So Stand Back for Exciter, The Ripper, Victim of Changes, Genocide, every song, A Tyrant, every song on it's fantastic. And the best version of those songs are on that album.
I want to say I have it on vinyl. I'm gonna have to go look, but my turntable's down, and I I took it to a repair guy who had it for 2.5 months, and I actually picked it up yesterday. He never fixed it. I was pretty pissed, so I got somebody else who's gonna fix it next week.
So what's funny to me is when you think about Kiss, Kiss definitely had better production in the 80s. As much as I don't like Tears Are Falling or Let's Put the X in...
You mean on the albums themselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as opposed to like, if you listen to what the best of the best was coming out with in the 80s and you listen to Kiss's production, you would say, yeah, it's right up there. But if you go back and listen into the 70s, you would say, all right, I like these songs better than the 80s songs, but the production is just, it's not as good. And I was like, I feel like if they got away from the writing partners and just kept it to themselves, that in the 80s, they would have been a much better band and I would have taken them more seriously, almost to the effect of Aerosmith. Like Aerosmith 80s stuff to me is what happens when you take a band like Aerosmith and you're like, let's hire some writers to come in and write songs for these guys. And when it's like fucking Rocks, Toys in the Attic, those guys didn't need writers. They were great. But I feel like they were trying to sell to like the crossover
and they did, but they did. At first they appealed to us, the young male heavy metal generation.
Sure.
But then they started appealing. They were on pop radio with those songs. Kiss and Aerosmith both were
right, and they both abandoned their original audience, in my opinion.
Well,
because
I'm sure a lot of those people still listened to it, but it complained about it, like what we're doing now.
Right,
but
which is
that's what made the money.
Who put out a better album in 1986, Kiss or Carol Channing?
Let me see what Carol Channing put out in 1980.
Well, she might have been dead by then. Well, hello, Dolly. So
no, she died in 2019. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, Carol Channing is a legend, but she had to be in her 90s.
Discography. Well, she did some spoken word albums too.
That was every album she did.
What was the year you said? Let's see if she put out anything. 86?
Wasn't every album of hers a spoken word album?
Probably. Okay. No studio record in 86, but the closest thing was in 1984, she did Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin, told and sung by Carol Channing.
Oh, God.
Oh, I automatically like that album better than Lick It Up. Which I believe was 83. It's better than Lick It Up. Whose album really personified femininity? Carol Channing's 84 record or Kiss Lick It Up? Who looked better in a pantsuit, Carol Channing or Vinnie Vincent?
Whoa.
Hey-o! That is weird, whack. Yeah, so I mean, but look at Aerosmith. I mean, as a musician, if somebody said to you, Howie, listen, I need you to perform tonight. I'm going to pay you $10,000. You have the choice. We have to play an Aerosmith album, top to bottom. You pick it. I'm just going to go on a guess and say you're going to pick an album from this.
You pick it, or you get to play a gig with Carol Channing. I'm taking
no. Because of course Carol Channing's the answer. But you get to pick it, and I can guarantee it's going to be an album from their 70s catalog.
Probably. What would I do? Night in the Ruts, maybe?
Even 79. Really? Night in the Ruts? I love Mia on that album.
I'm joking.
Yeah. But seriously, what would you pick?
Probably Rocks.
That would be my pick.
Yeah.
I would say Rocks or even Get Your Wings because I do love SOS Too Bad.
Yeah,
Stagecoach Lady. Yeah. And that's my point. It's like that's when they were making records. It wasn't singles driven. It wasn't pop radio driven with getting in writers. Let's get Heather Hawley
But that
in
was
here.
what you had to do. Like Heart did it, Starship did it. So many bands did it.
They all and look, okay.
And that's
You-
and the mansions that some of them still live
Starship
in.
calls you and says, Howie, we'd like you to come back and play an album with us. We're going to do a night of one of our albums. We're going to do the album. And I'm blanking on the name of the album with Find Your Way Back. What the hell's the name of that album?
I can't think of it either. I know what you're talking about though.
All I can think of is Freedom at Point Zero, but that's from '79 with Jane. What is the one with anyways, you could do that album with Find Your Way Back and I think Stranger is on that album. Or you could do the album with Sarah.
Okay, but here's, and I get what you're saying, but you're asking a musician, you know, a guy who likes to play guitar. You're not the general public. If you said, just take every house on your block, not musicians, not just.
Right, but you're just talking, but you're singles driven. That would be like,
let's say Starship's going to play that first album one night and the second album the other night. You can only go to one night. More people are going to want to go to where the pop hits are.
No way.
Yes.
No way, because the problem is this. The people who are fans of the band are going to the show. And fans of the band would rather hear the better album than the album that crossed over to the people that's like, oh, I like that song. What other songs do they do? Oh, they start naming them and they go, yeah, I'm not going to go sit for an hour and a half so I can hear one song. That's the problem.
I see how you're saying it's a problem, but it's,
hey, Brad, what's happening?
It's how, you know, like I said, the mansions that they live in, if they still do, and if they kept their money, and the Lamborghinis that they drive now are because of those popular albums in the 80s when they hired songwriters and the production got bigger.
Only because they were robbed during the 70s. If they kept that 70s money, let's put it this way. Well, Queen was a band that kept true. Like, I could say this about Queen. In the 70s Queen and 80s Queen, as bad as I think 80s Queen is, and I don't think it's good, but as bad as it is, at least it was all four guys writing the song still.
Or individually, like John Deacon wrote a couple on his own.
No, they all wrote individual. I mean, Brian May wrote his songs, Freddie wrote his songs, but they all wrote their own. They wrote their own songs. It was like a Beatles type of situation where you had three talented writers in the band and Ringo. But yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what do you think Queen's best 80s album is? And I'm just going to say The Game doesn't count because The Game is still like.
Unfortunately, with Queen, I don't know what song is on what album. I never had the catalog. I wasn't a fan. And then, you know, if you remember, I did when I was playing with Jeff Scott Soto back in.
Yeah, I remember you did the Queen tribute
21 years ago. We did a Queen tribute DVD, live DVD with like 2.5 hours of Queen. And then we did it the next year with even different songs. And even when I learned those songs then, I was listening to some of them for the first time ever. I never listened to them again. And I didn't know what record was on what record.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough.
I think we should do like on this show sometime, we should do a battle of the bands. Like, who was the better 70s band? Like Queen versus Aerosmith. And you get to pick
what do you mean by
three
better?
albums?
It's going to be a popularity contest. It's who was.
No, it's just going to be what you like, what we like. Yeah. I mean,
but Zeppelin's going to win over all of them, at least in my universe.
Yeah, I think Zeppelin is a strong suit, but I'm just saying you would have like, because now, were you ever a Kansas fan, Howie?
Hits and some stuff. I can't go super deep. I just didn't. I've seen him live a couple times back in the Steve Walsh years.
Oh, great.
And you know where I saw him the first time it was the first year I went to the NAMM show, 1995, and outside Yamaha had a giant tent and a big party where the booze was free, and Kansas was playing with Steve Walsh, and it was insane.
He is so good a singer,
and he was still at the top of his game then.
And that band is so fucking great. Yeah. And was what's his name playing guitar?
Livgren? No,
Steve. Not Steve.
Steve
What the hell
Walsh?
is it? No, what's the guy's
Oh,
name
I mean,
from
Steve.
the
Sorry,
Dregs?
Steve Morse. You mean?
Steve Morse. Yeah, was he
No,
playing
no,
guitar?
no, no. I think he was out by then because that was in the 80s.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a band. If you go deep into the albums, you realize they're a hell of a lot better than anyone's giving them credit for.
Oh, of course.
They were unbelievable.
I think
And
the sound quality of just Carry On Wayward Son, the production, the way the drums and guitar sound, I don't think there's a better sounding rock song ever.
I'm going to go. I'll tell you right now, Howie, this is very rare for me and you. I'm going to agree.
Every instrument sounds exactly how a rock guitar, keyboard, drum, bass should sound. It's a perfect.
It's the greatest rock and roll song of all time.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah. And think about 76, like what came out, and forget about all the 70s. Think about just in 76 what came out that year. Boston had their big album. Aerosmith Rocks came out in 76. Led Zeppelin came out with Presence in 76.
Carol Channing came out with Kidding Around with Carol Channing and the Kids.
Oh my God, that's one of her best records. Guys, if you don't have Kidding Around with Carol Channing and the Kids, you have no idea what you're missing.
Wait a minute. She put out two things in 76. She also put out something called C&W. I wonder if that's...
She's the hottest working woman in Hollywood.
With Webb Pierce. Who
I
was
love Webb Pierce.
Honky tonk vocalist, songwriter.
It'd be a country record.
So C&W must be, it's a double meaning. It means Carol and Webb, and also country and western.
What kind of music do you guys play? Both kinds, country and western. Jan says Boston guitar sounded better. I'm going to say no way in hell.
Not even close.
I agree. Not even close.
Boston
Also in
guitars,
76, Kid Charlemagne, what's that? The Royal Scam came out in 76. But if you're looking at a perfect rock sounding record, that album, there was another great song on that album too. That's Left Overture from 76. I'm trying to think what was the other. If Huey's in the chat, he would know. There was another big song on that record that I loved.
Well, Dust in the Wind, right?
I thought Dust in the Wind was on the next record. Is it that record?
I'm not sure.
What's the album that has, is it called The Devil's Game? Is that on that record? Oh, Jailbreak is 76. Another great record. That's another band that I think in the States never got proper love. And I got to tell you, Howie, today I'm in the gym and on my headphones comes that song that I told you I hate by Gary Moore. It doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white. Let me just say this. The version that came on was Shanker with Gary Barden doing it.
They never did that.
The version that came on, Howie, is Michael Shanker with Gary Barden doing it. And it's fantastic. Yeah. Look it up. It's fantastic. Because I love Gary Barden's voice. You know that.
They did a cover of it? I never knew
I'm
that.
telling you.
All right. I have to, I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to actually, I have to.
Go ahead. Listen.
I'm going to mute my thing for a second because
go ahead.
I've never even heard of this. Hold on one second.
It's fantastic. I'm a huge fan. So UFO, in fact, the UFO song that I heard today, and all my yesterdays are coming back on you. I pack it up and go. Hold on, let me mute him.
The hell is that? Okay.
That's his computer noise coming through. Pack it up and go from UFO Obsession, I heard today. And that song I love. Talk about UFO coming across like with a Zeppelin-esque type song. It's a great song. Pack it up and go. Hey Brad, if you want to pop on, let me know. I'll shoot you the link. Yeah, Pack It Up and Go is fantastic. Let me just where's my invite? Invite.
I got an email from MeTV today. I got a list if you're interested.
Oh yeah. We'll wait until Howie gets back, and then
I thought maybe you wanted to do it while Howie was listening to
he's going to be back in 2 minutes. Let me just So yeah, we talked about those movies. I'm trying to think what else I've watched recently that you would have. Here he is. What'd you think, Howie?
No.
It's better than the original.
No, not even close. Gary
The
Barton
reason,
so struggling. They left in a
oh
bunch
yeah,
of flat notes when a couple times where he hit the high
did you
notes.
hear they had somebody else come in and sing the other lines, or it's on a different track?
Hear that too, or double it with them. No.
Yeah, no, he's doubled with somebody else. Yeah, I mean his voice is weak, but I love his tone of his voice. It's almost like
I've never heard that before. I'll go back and revisit it, but
Shanker's been putting out a lot of great covers lately. The last 5 years.
That was from 2007. It said.
Yeah, from like 2000. I want to say from maybe 2000 to today, Shanker's put out probably a half a dozen covers of classic metal songs, and it's great. Oh, okay. No worries, Brad. Hardcore Jollies is 76. There's another Funkadelic album that I like better from 76, Ricky Compton. And I think it was on the Westbound label because they released 2 albums in 76, Hardcore Jollies, and Funkadelic also put out Tales of Kid Funkadelic. I like Tales of Kid Funkadelic much better with Michael Hampton on guitar. But yeah, so I like
records. Some of these records that people are listing in the chat, I like better than the Kansas thing, but nothing sounds better than that Kansas record.
It's such a great, to me, it's like if you said to me, we've had this conversation, Howie, when you weren't here once, but we talked about if aliens came down and you could say, you want to know what rock and roll was about, we could surmise it in one song. Here you go, and give them Carry On My Wayward Son. It's fantastic. All the solos, all the singing.
Yeah, this summer, one of the Winger shows we did, somebody came from some rock magazine and interviewed us all and just like went to everybody in the band and said, pick the one song that you probably find, to be perfect rock song, most influential type of thing. And that's what I came up with.
Yeah. I would agree with you 100%. And I'd also say my favorite song by Kansas is a song called Song for America. And I think in the 70s, that as a progressive rock band, Kansas to me was far superior than Yes. Because Yes had the album, they had 2 albums in 71, which were unbelievable. The Yes album and Fragile. 72, they came out with Close to the Edge. After Close to the Edge, for some reason, they couldn't write a song. It was like, here's 18 minutes of complete nothingness. No hook, no nothing.
Tormato is unlistenable.
Oh, I agree. That's unlistenable.
You can't. It's not fair to compare those two bands because Kansas is a hard rock progressive band, and Yes is just a progressive band.
But they were better writers. Yes. Yeah. Not Yes, Kansas. I think Yes, though, when Yes was writing the early Yes albums, so Yes album, I think like if you strip down a lot of these songs, like if you strip down, if you strip down something like you say initially with loving care. I mean, it's a beautiful song, and they had a lot of beautiful with the whole like they had a lot of beautiful songs, beautiful melodies, and they lost that. And they filled it with a lot of, I would call, experimental stuff. And by the time they did Relayer and Tales of Topographic Ocean, those 2 records are all experimental with no song. And that to me was the beginning of the end for Yes, right in 73. I mean, I think they just went, but Kansas were fantastic. I mean, songs like Born on Wings of Steel is a great song. Devil's Game.
I hate to say because it's probably considered cheesy, but I think "Play the Game" is a great song.
Come on.
I love it.
You know I love Elefante with a passion. It's fantastic. When you love oh, I love that tune. Play. Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, that song is every song they did. All the hits they had. If you buy their greatest hits album, even like the song they wrote for the greatest hits album, Perfect Lover. There's a perfect love. I love it all.
Yeah.
ELO is another band that is completely underrated, where from the time they did El Dorado, I mean, the first two albums are good, but when they did El Dorado, Face the Music, the next album that I'm trying, with the word world in it, I'm forgetting the name of that album. That's a fantastic album. Then they did Out of the Blue, the double album. Actually, my favorite album is the one that I'm blanking on the name. Somebody come up with the name of that. The New World record. Thank you. That to me is my favorite ELO record. But Out of the Blue is fantastic. And I love Discovery, also known as Disco Very, because it is a very disco album. But that's what they call it, Disco Very. Well, it's Discovery. But Horace Wimp's a great song on that album. Last Train to London. I love it. Need Her Love. Fantastic. I mean, Jeff Lynne is one of the most, I think, underrated, and you never hear that shit anymore. Oh, yeah, Third Day. I forgot the name of that. I was thinking El Dorado. You're right, Third Day. Yeah, Wings is another great band. Yeah, Jeff Lynne is awesome. Jeff Lynne, let me just say this about ELO. There's a new band out there called the Electric Light Orchestra, and they're taking it what the Beatles left off with Walrus. That was a John Lennon quote in 72. I just love the fact that if you ever listen to John Lennon interviews talk about songs, he'll never say the full name of a song. Oh, that was me when I wrote Walrus. John wrote Penny. It's unbelievable. It's hilarious. The guy. Yeah, he loved him. He loved him. Yeah, no, I mean, I think all the guys in the Beatles really respected him. In fact, I think he worked with almost every one of them. I know he worked with McCartney, he worked with Ringo, worked with Harrison. He's great. Jeff Lynne is awesome. And it doesn't hurt that Jeff Lynne had the best engineer, who was probably what I think of one of the most brilliant minds, with a guy named Reinhold Mack. And he owned a studio in Switzerland that everyone used to go and record at. In fact, he recorded the game for he produced the game for Queen, which you guys like the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he produced Don't Say No for Billy Squier. But he was responsible for all the ELO engineering records that they started doing. And I can't remember the name of the studio. Brad, you might remember it. The studio that they recorded all the stuff with was Reinhold Mack's studio in Switzerland or Germany. No, I think it's in Switzerland. But I forget the name of the studio. It's closed now, but he was unbelievable. I mean, the fucking drum sound on The Stroke. Howie, do you know the album The Game by Queen?
Well, again, I probably know almost all the songs. I just don't know it.
Dragon Attack by Queen?
Of course, I've played it a million times.
Oh, that's the greatest. And you can hear that production. If you listen to Dragon Attack, you're going to be like, oh, this is the setup for The Stroke. Like, once he recorded Dragon Attack, he knew how he was going to approach The Stroke. Because Dragon Attack is 1980. Yeah, I forget the name of the studio. Reinhold Mack was the...
Everyone bites the dust. Crazy little thing.
And Bev Bevan, the drummer for ELO, was also the drummer on Born Again from Black Sabbath.
It's true. I actually listened to Born Again last week.
I love Bev Bevan.
Yeah.
He's great.
I
think
saw Sabbath
Sharon Osbourne.
I saw Sabbath on that tour.
I think that management company that managed Sabbath had something to do with ELO.
Maybe.
Well, I saw yeah, I think so. Wasn't it Jet Records? Was that the record company that they owned?
Well, Gary Moore was on Jet for a while, and so was Ozzy, but I don't know if Sabbath was.
No. Ozzy was, but not. Yeah, but Jet. I believe Jet was Don Arden's label.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Because
Ozzy asked Gary Moore to join after Randy Rhoads died, and Gary Moore said no.
Crazy. That would have been good. He would have been a great player for him.
Yeah.
Because then Ozzy would be going, "Don't take me for a loser." Dun, dun. Corridors of Power. Is that Gary Moore's best album?
I like Victims of the Future better.
I knew you were going to say. I had a gut feeling you were going to say Victims.
I'm more of a fan of his blues albums.
Really? I'm a Corridors fan. Although I love Victims. Which one had Shapes of Things? That was Victims, right? Yeah. Corridors had Don't Take Me for a Loser, I'm Always Gonna Love You, End of the World. Yeah. Yeah, I think Corridors was the one that I wore out pretty much when I was like 15 years old.
That was the opposite for me. I wore out Victims.
I remember when that came out.
I it regularly.
I had a cousin that gave me the album and said, "You got to check out Gary Moore." Like a week later, I had No Parole from Rock and Roll. And I was like, yeah, End of the World? No, I'm going to listen to this shit. And it was like, what the hell is going on? That was like a mind blow. But yeah, no, I think, would you agree that Aerosmith is definitely one of the best bands of the 70s?
I just don't like the word best. I don't know what that really means.
Well, one of the top bands. I mean, when you think of the bands from the 70s that had maybe some of the most important stuff.
Rock bands known for the 70s, definitely.
Yes.
I think their 70s stuff was better than the 80s stuff.
100%.
I agree
100%.
with that, yes.
Yeah, 100%. And then what about Cheap Trick?
Oh, yeah, they were great.
I think their first 4 albums are tough to beat. After that, the album with Stop This Game, what was that album called? What the hell's the name of that album? Well, I can't stop the music. I thought that was like not a great album, but was good. But Dream Police and Earlier is fantastic. That's an underrated band.
Yeah. Love
Cheap Trick. And all those days are gone, folks. You're never going to see it again. Now we have Schwarzes calling themselves rock and roll.
Let me ask you a question.
Rapping over nonsense.
All these great rock albums and rock bands from the 70s, what do you think Al Pacino would think is the best?
Well, we argue about it all the time, and here's Al's response to me.
Fuck you, Dave.
And of course, me and Bill Friedkin have very similar thoughts on Al Pacino. Bill, what do you think?
I don't give a flying fuck into a rolling donut about what Al Pacino thinks.
And there you have it, folks.
I'm sorry. I was just in the mood to hear that.
I love it. All right. So, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, when you think about important, like, I'll tell you another important band that gets overlooked, somebody brought him up, was Thin Lizzy.
Mm.
Thin Lizzy, and Howard, you can be appreciative of this because I got a buddy of mine. He played in my band, The Big Angry. He was a bass player. And he loved the swagger of Aerosmith, like Lord of the Thighs he used to love. And I remember, like, he always liked the songs. And Pete, if you're watching, I'm talking about you. He loved those songs. Well, a song came on, I'm leaving the gym. And when I leave the gym, my phone just connects to my car. So whatever I'm listening to just continues to play that station on Spotify that I created. And Ready and Willing comes on. And I'm like, what song has more swagger than Ready and Willing? It's hard to beat. And I was thinking to myself, I bet you my buddy Pete doesn't even know this song. And it's probably one of the greatest rock and roll songs with swagger. Right? Sweet Talk. Oh, I love that song. Yeah. And you never hear anybody talk about like early, You know what's funny is I don't know if you guys watch American Idol or watched it during when it was in its big run. They had a guy on that played a Les Paul, I forget his name, Dave something. And he came on and he did a version of Michael Jackson's song, but he basically did the Chris Cornell version of it. You guys would know what it was, but I can't think of what the song is right now off the top of my head. Anyways, they were like praising this kid, going, "Oh my God, you're so original." I'm like, so original? He's doing fucking Chris Cornell's take on it. The next week he comes out and he does fucking Day Tripper.
Oh,
Guess
yeah.
what version?
I saw that.
What version was that, Howie? Could you tell the audience who may not know?
It would be the Whitesnake on the album Trouble version, Dave.
Absolutely. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, well, this is hip. This guy's paying homage to fucking Whitesnake doing Beatles. They told him how unbelievably creative he was in that version. It's like, you fucking idiots don't know this. Like, you don't know who's doing the song. Like, I could get out there and do some fucking cover of something that somebody else did, and they'd be like, "Oh, Dave, you're a genius." I'm a genius. I happen to know music.
The only thing that bummed me out when he did that was nobody did Bernie Marsden's talk box guitar solo on it. And that was really missing for me because I'm so used to hearing that in that version.
And don't get me wrong, I love the version. And I love the fact that either he knew the version or that somebody on his team.
It wasn't that guy Bo Bice, was it?
No, it wasn't Bo Bice. It was a guy named, like, I want to say David Clark, but that wasn't his name. If you guys know what that kid's name was, I think he won that year.
Yeah, I think it was David something now that you say that. I can't remember his last name.
But it was like amazing to me that I was like, these guys. And then there was one where somebody sang This Woman's Work. And I remember fucking Randy Jackson was like, "Yo, dog, you're doing a Maxwell joint." Yeah, hey, Randy, can we cut the Schwarza talk for a minute and talk realistically for a minute? Maxwell did it as a cover, and I love Maxwell. And his first solo album, Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite, I'll say right now, is one of the greatest R&B records of all time. I'm going to say that. It's fucking unbelievable. But don't tell me This Woman's Work is a fucking Maxwell fucking song when Kate Bush wrote it and recorded it first. Well, she wrote it and she recorded it first. It was in a movie. She's having a baby. Oh, that's a Maxwell joint. Everybody wants to be Spike Lee because Spike Lee calls his movies a Spike Lee joint. It's like, oh, that's a Maxwell joint. Yeah. Hey, listen, can we save that talk for when your pants are around your ankles and you guys all think you look good? Yeah. We're gonna sit and talk music for a bit. You guys might want to hush up. Unbelievable. That bothered me. Anybody know what that kid's name was? David Clark, David Hyde Pierce. No, I don't remember what his name was. Yeah, I could be the next. Well, yeah. Except I would say when someone starts singing, I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't say you were pitchy other than you were flat the whole song. We call it out what it is. And then there was, some people get on the show and I predicted right from the beginning. I remember when I first saw, what's her face? Carrie Underwood. I'm like, this girl's going to win. Just from her audition. I'm like, you're not going to find somebody that, it's hard to find people that can sing as good as she does.
David Cook.
Cook. That's it. Yeah, David Cook. Yeah. And does anyone know what the fucking version that he did of Chris Cornell's Michael Jackson? Was it Billie Jean?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, the fucking guy may have done, he should have done Girl You Want from Devo, the Chris Cornell version. That would have been better. Then they would have been like, you are a wizard. How are you able to transform that song? Yeah, I listen to more stuff than what's on the fucking radio, the fucking garbage you're listening to, Simon. But anyways, that's but anyways, that song by Whitesnake, Ready and Willing, is I would debate anybody to tell me what song has more swagger.
Let me change the subject for 1 second and see what I thought about this the other day because I was perusing eBay as we do, and it suggested stuff What are your thoughts on when you know in advance, setting about and buying the Chinese knockoff Les Paul that still says Gibson Les Paul in the headstock?
You want to know what my thought is on it?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just answer Dean Wormer real quick. Nope. Okay, so there was a guy who did a video recently that I watched on YouTube, and he said he ordered a Les Paul, the Randy Rhoads clone, and he said the headstock was covered, but he thought it was going to be like either a Firefly. He was trying to make a guess of what brand it was because they were hiding it. And when he got it, it said Gibson on it.
Right. Well, look, there's more than one manufacturer making
100%.
Gibsons in China. We know
Sure.
that.
Sure. Just like there's more than one manufacturer making Gibsons in the States.
Yeah.
You've got all these private guys making like Slash's Gibson that he was a private guy's Gibson, wasn't Gibson. The original Slash. Yeah, the original Slash guitar. If somebody knows the name of the builder, the guy who made Slash's.
I just read this the other night. Let me see if I can.
It's not a Gibson. But anyways, my thought is if that is something you want, buy it. The trouble comes if you're going to sell it and you're selling it as a real Gibson. Then I think there's a moral issue. But as far as buying a knockoff,
and buying a knockoff,
no, because you know it's a cheaper knockoff. You know what you're getting. You're getting a copy of a Gibson, and at no point are you trying to. Are you thinking you're getting a Gibson? No. So the seller's not taking advantage.
Let's say you're in a gigging band, no matter what level. There's going to be photos of you with it on the internet. There's going to be videos of you playing it on the internet.
Just like Slash.
Yeah, and if you want to know that's
and then Gibson will approach you and say, "Do you want a real one?" Just like Slash.
His replica was made by Chris Derrig of Music Works.
Yeah, so he was a private builder.
It says Gibson on the headstock?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Oh, there's like 5 or 6 builders in the United States that'll make you a Gibson with a Gibson on the headstock that are private builders. How they get away with it, they don't tell anybody, but
Billy's saying in the chat, what about traveling through customs? If it's an illegal knockoff, you might get in trouble. You can't.
What would you be in trouble for?
You're not the one shipping the guitar.
Well, they don't know. They get
if I ship you an 8-ball of cocaine, it's not you who's going to get in trouble.
See, that's the thing.
Well,
they get a mule and they put the guitar up someone's ass. They don't
First of all, I don't know what laws you guys are going by. The law, if you bought a Gibson guitar and they thought that person was selling you a Gibson, that's a problem. But if someone's making you a replica Gibson and they're making it to you, and let's just say you wanted it because you're buying it to put on your wall, what's illegal about that? Nothing. The illegal thing is the people who are making it, and they can't really advertise making it. But if you wanted to build, let me just say this. Let's say you wanted to build a guitar in your house.
When you see them online, exactly your point, when you see them online, they never show the headstock ever.
No, they can't.
Only the back.
Yeah. And they can't. And let me tell you, so again, if that's something that you want, you're going to buy it. As long as you're not turning around and selling it and misrepresenting it as something, I don't see what the issue would be. Now, some people are going to say, well, you're stealing from Gibbs. Not really. Look at this here. This was a Mexican Strat that I sold the neck and all the electronics. So I put the new electronics in. These are DiMarzio 58 Pro 54 on the bridge.
You know what they call that guitar in Mexico? A Strat.
Yeah. I put a Wenge neck from Warmouth. I had a trophy company go in and laser the 70s Fender head logo, which I like better than the small. The whole guitar cost me $1,000. And
how much was the etching?
Okay, hold on. Let me go. I'll go over this with you. Watch this. So this guitar cost me $300. Brand new Mexican Strat on Craigslist. Guy got it as a gift. He was asking for. I said, I'll show up. I'll meet you at your work with $300. Let's do it. He worked really close to me. He said, perfect. I sold the neck for 140. I sold the electronics for 100. So now I'm $60 in with a body and a bridge. So the pickups then ended up costing me like close to 200 to get this. So now I'm at 260. The neck cost me $400. This is a Wenge neck, stainless steel frets, ebony fingerboard. And then I called this woman at this laser place who did this. It was $75 to laser the headstock. Then I had my guy fill it with a white acrylic paint, and then he sanded it down so it was exactly how it lays it out. And so this is a Wenge neck, and you can see the grain. Hold on, let me show you the grain on this neck. Is unbelievable. Look at the grain.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then,
Wow, that's nice.
yeah, now it's a 1 3/4 nut. I've had the top frets. You can see they're scalloped only to the third string. See the scalloping?
I do.
That's just, and how you know, just when you're running quick and you want to just get underneath it, you're there. And it's only for the high strings. Basically stole it from, what's his name's bass, that Yamaha bass from
Billy.
Exact same thing, Billy. And it makes perfect sense. So that was it. And there's a truss rod adjustment right here on the side, so I can adjust it from the side because it's Warmoth. But this plays way better than any custom shop I've ever played.
However, what I could say about that is it started out a guitar made by Fender, whether it's Fender Mexico or not.
But it's Fender. Even if, okay, so I have another one, but it's at my luthier because he's putting on a bone nut. It's a yellow one, and I bought all the parts from Warmoth. 100% Warmoth made. But it's all Fender's. I mean, it's Fender's thing. I could put Charvel. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I could put Charvel on. I could put anything. I could put my own name on it. But I put Fender because to me, it's a Fender Strat. I don't care what you call it. You could look at a G&L Strat. The headstock's not the same. But if you look at, Warmoth is selling the Fender headstock. I'm putting Fender on it. And if Fender wanted to approach me and make the guitar for me, I don't know if I would let them. I don't know if they could handle it. It's a V-neck. It's a Clapton V-neck that Warmoth makes. But that guitar is my favorite guitar. Plays unbelievable. It sounds great. And for $1,000, at the end of the day, it plays better than any $4,000 custom shop. Yeah. Yeah, I know Warmoth doesn't really want to get into that, but if you find a guy, like I have a guy, he does everything. Does it like for $100. Puts the whole thing together for me. That's it. Sets it up. It's fucking beautiful.
Well, yeah, I have my Lake Placid Blue Strat with the reverse headstock is a parts guitar, but the neck is actually from the Fender custom shop, and John Cruz built it, and some of the parts are old vintage Fender parts. So I see what you're saying there, but I didn't buy a guitar that had nothing to do with Fender and then put the Fender logo on it. I'm talking about buying a Les Paul from China. Not a single thing on it has anything to do with Gibson. And then
except it's Gibson's design, and you're trying to fake that it's a Les Paul.
I'm just wondering what
some people. My thought is, if somebody wants to do it, I have no issue. To me, I wouldn't, because it's not like. Now, if
Neil's making a good point in the chat that I was going to bring up next, is that his wife is buying knockoff designer stuff from China,
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
there's only one reason I would buy a guitar like that. If I'm a professional musician and I'm known for playing Gibson, and I usually end my set with smashing my guitar, I'm getting a Gibson. I'm not smashing my real Gibson.
Well, even if you don't smash it, like just being out there traveling, it's dangerous these days.
That's a good point too, for shit getting stolen.
Airlines breaking things, just everything in general. Number one, I get it, and I hate to say it, but the prices on Les Pauls, be it used or new right now, are just
insane.
I see them,
Why?
All the social media suggest, because I look at Les Pauls a lot. they're suggesting, marketplace stuff and reverb ads and all that, and the prices are jaw dropping.
But every other company is getting not, and I won't use the word cheap. They're getting more affordable for amazing quality, and Gibson's going the other fucking way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I mean, let me put it. I think in their custom shop guitars, they make a great guitar. Do I think that their standard line is great? Not really. I mean, I think they're okay. I mean, if you like Gibsons, that's definitely more of a thing for you. I'm not a big Gibson guy. I've owned several and I've sold several. I like them, but to me, I'm a Strat guy. I mean, that's just.
If you want a good Gibson, you know what you should do? Go get in the early 70s in Japan. They were making Gibsons better than Gibson. The pre-lawsuit Japanese Les Pauls.
Oh, of course. But you know what?
Amazing.
But you know what? People know about those now, and the prices on those are getting pretty damn expensive for all of them. For the Ibanez lawsuits and the off-brand lawsuits, they're all expensive.
That's where my name came from. My YouTube name came from. When I was first signing up for YouTube, I was in the living room playing my guitar, and it's like, you have to have a username. I'm like, what the fuck do I call myself? I looked at the guitar. It was an Omega made by Electra, so I called myself Electra Omega. It's still my favorite guitar. It's fucking amazing. It's the pre-lawsuit. It has the Gibson headstock. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the one that I'm holding in the intro.
My problem with Gibson comes from that they don't do anything modern. Like if they came to me and said, Dave, we're going to make you you're going out on the road this year and we're going to give you a guitar to go. What do you want? I would say, give me a 58 Les Paul custom. I want the neck to be ebony. I don't want that light brown crap wood. Just give me a ebony on a standard, but I want an ebony fingerboard, and I want stainless frets, and I want them over the binding, not under. That would be my start.
And that's the other thing I was going to bring up. What Billy Mays just said about, Dean with the flying V's. Gibson doesn't endear themselves to the market by suing every other fucking company. Instead of suing Dean about the V shape, put out a V that everyone can afford and say, why would you buy that when you could have the real thing? But they don't do that.
Now trying to get, DiMarzio, this beer that I got at the NAMM show, I told you the story about this.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to, DiMarzio's owned this, trademarked this name Double Cream for a pickup since the 1970s, and now Gibson's fighting to get it from them. Like, yikes! Who's making these decisions?
But the funny thing too, talking about NAMM, I watched a lot of the YouTube videos about it, and people are like, well, is NAMM dead? The big ones weren't there, Gibson, PRS, and Fender, and I'm like, but who fucking cares? They never put out anything new anyway. They never put anything new out anyway. The last time Gibson was there, the most exciting thing they had finally pulled their head out of their ass and made decent Epiphone guitars that were better than the regular fucking guitars.
Well, Elroy is saying Chinese knockoff guitars are not worth the money. How so? Because
it's $200, $300.
I mean, I'm looking at a Les Paul right now that's $301. And I can I have pickups here I can put in it. So that's not going to cost me anything. And
and if you can do a fret job, if you handle frets, or
the only thing I might need is, the frets polished, which I can, if it's not too bad, I can do it myself. So what else would not be worth the money?
Yeah, I think some of them are better than others for sure. And to me, you know what, if I could make, if Gibson said to me, Dave, we want you to make a redesigned Les Paul, I would say, give me a maple neck Les Paul and stainless frets. I don't need any binding, but the headstock,
I'd want a maple fretboard.
I want a maple neck and fretboard.
Okay.
And then
I'd say, and give me the Pat Martino headstock.
And then Dave,
you guys know the Pat Martino Gibson headstock? It's a thinner headstock with straight string pull.
Yeah.
Dave,
I think that would look like hot on a Les.
Dave walks in with the prototype to his ideal Gibson, and Al Pacino is sitting there. And what does Al Pacino say about your Gibson, Dave?
Fuck you, Dave.
Al loves me, but then I let William Friedkin play it, and then I said, well, you know, Al doesn't like my design.
I don't give a flying fuck into a rolling donut about what Al Pacino thinks.
Oh God!
And that's what I would say. I put a double DiMarzio, Larry. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that was what I was saying about it. I don't think there's a problem with it, especially if you're going to take it on the road. And Gibson might come to you and be like, "Hey, do you want a real one? What can you lose?" At that point, yeah, all right. Like I said, Slash never played a real one in the early days, and there's lots of guys. There's lots of private builders, and there's a Les Paul group in Facebook where people are constantly talking about who's building this or who's building that.
But you know,
of course, then if you want, there's that Historics company. I think it's in Florida that you send your Les Paul custom to, and they completely tear it apart, and fix it and make it true. Repaint it, put a Brazilian fingerboard on it, and that's only for $500,000. I don't know how much that is. That's like it's thousands.
But you know what? Honestly, think about it. Most of the guys out there playing Strats, those aren't Fender Strats. So what's the big deal?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. I honestly, well, I don't know. PRS makes a decent single cut, but that's super expensive. You could also play an LTD, but I agree. I think if you wanted to go out and buy it because you're going to take it on the road, and I know you have a Les Paul, Howie.
I do.
You don't want to take, and you don't want to take yours out on the road because it could get stolen. I don't see a problem.
Well, I don't. I mean, I've been taking it out for years. Obviously,
no, I know.
The more you take it out, the more you're risking it. But
yeah,
mine's heavy. It weighs a lot, and sometimes I want a lighter weight guitar to travel with.
Yeah, Heritage is another one, Charlie. Yes, yeah, I agree. I mean, there's all kinds of. Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with. Like I said, this guy who opened the Randy Rhoads. If anyone gets a chance to watch this video, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do something about the headstock." What? What do you have to do? You know, it's not real. Nobody cares. This isn't like. It's almost like. If I use a capo on some of the lessons I teach because I'm trying to get people to play these songs acoustically and to play them so they sound good, people are like, "What'd you put a capo on for? I can play without a capo." And I'm sure it sounds great. Oh, capo's cheating. Oh, it's cheating. Yeah, and how often have you worked getting hired to play certain songs you need a capo? Meanwhile, it's like, every country song, if you're playing a country song and they're playing it in A, you're playing an acoustic capo on 2 and playing it in G. That's just the way it is. If it's in B, you're playing a capo on the 4 and playing it like it's G. Just how it goes. But people are like, "Oh, that's cheating." Why is it cheating? Oh, well, there's buying a fake Gibson cheating too? Ah, it's cheating. Yeah. It's literally, you're out there, you're fucking gigging and you're looking for a disposable guitar. I get it. Why not?
All right.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And now a list.
Oh yes, we have a list, Dave.
It's more like a quiz than a list.
Yeah,
really.
well, let's put it this way. I just want to say, I have a B Bender Telecaster that I bought from it's a Fender, but I removed the neck. I put a fat Warmoth neck on it, a big fat 50s style neck on it. And that guitar plays better than ever. And I put a Fender logo on it because it's a Fender. And then I had a company called Rebel Relic out of Amsterdam build me a Gretsch-looking Telecaster. It's a Telecaster with 2 Gretsch pickups and a Bigsby. And that neck I removed. I put a Warmoth neck on it, and I put a Fender logo on it. And people say to me all the time, "Is that a Cabronita?" No, Fender wishes. It blows away any Cabronita I ever played. It's made from Carina. The wood it looks like a real aged guitar. It's great. And Anyways, all right, let's hear this list. Let's
right.
moving along.
It's a quiz. So this is email I got today from MeTV.
Okay.
Each of these classic songs has the word love in their title.
Are you doing this because are you doing this because it's Valentine's Day?
I had
Yes,
I had nothing else, and they emailed me, and I'm like, okay, I'll go with it.
They probably did it because it's Valentine's Day.
Get ready to fall in love with these songs. Okay, a well-prepared love song can skyrocket a band's reputation, turning them from nobodies into superstars. To celebrate Valentine's Day, we're collecting songs written by famous artists with the word love in the title. We'll give you a sample of the lyrics, and it's your job to tell us what the name of the song is. So they give you three choices. Tell me if you want the choices or not. Number one, the Beatles sang no one you can save that can't be saved.
All you need is love. All you need is love.
Correct. All right. Oh, this is easy. Number two, I didn't read any of these in advance. Number two, Elvis Presley sang "Take My Whole Life Too." In which
Love Me Tender?
No, come on, man.
No,
Take
my hand. Take my whole. I can't help
falling in love.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Foreigner sang "Feels Like a World Upon My Shoulders." In which of their songs?
I want to know what love is.
And I want you to blow me.
Correct. Whitney Houston sang "Don't Panic When You Hit the Danger Zone." In which of her songs?
Highway to the Danger Zone? Kenny Loggins.
No, wait. This is a Whitney Houston song?
Yeah.
Say it again.
The lyric is "Don't panic when you hit the danger zone." You want the three choices?
Yeah.
Love Will Save the Day,
Nope.
Greatest Love of All,
Nope.
or Saving All My Love for You.
I'm going to go with B.
I'm going to go with C.
It was A, Love Will Save the Day.
We're both wrong.
I think this is going to be an easy one. Bon Jovi sang "Your Very First Kiss Was Your First Kiss Goodbye." In which of their songs?
You give love a mediocre name.
I love a bad name. Okay. Queen sang "She Knows How to Rock and Roll." In which of their songs?
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Correct. The Doors sang "All Your Love Is Gone, So Sing a Lonely Song." In which of their songs?
All your love is gone. Sing a lonely song.
It's not Love Me 3 Times.
You're so close to the verse. Love Her Madly.
I just had to think. I had to go through it for a second.
Stevie Wonder sang "No Harvest Moon to light one tender August night." In which of his songs? You want the choices?
Hold it. No.
Uh-huh.
I just called to say I love you.
Correct. Number 9. The Beatles sang "Someone to Love, Someone Like You." In which of their songs?
That sounds like To Be Loved. Someone to love. To be loved. I have a date with Lisa. Say it again. Someone to love.
Someone to love. Someone
Love
like
Me
you.
Do.
Love Me Do. Yeah.
Love Me Do, yeah.
Awful.
And final question in this quiz. We're back to Queen. Queen sang "I Got No Common Sense." In which of their songs?
All right, go on.
What was the lyric? Sorry.
Queen sang "I Got No Common Sense." In which of their songs?
It's Somebody to Love.
Correct. We got 9 out of 10.
All right. Hey guys, I want to tell you something. The other night, so you guys have YouTube TV, or do you guys watch YouTube on your TV at all ever?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So I'm watching when I go to bed. And if there's anybody from England or Europe in the chat, maybe you know what this game is. This thing came on my feed, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It's called Indoor Bowl. This guy throws a little ball out into like 25 yards out. And now they're like rolling these like odd-shaped bowling balls towards it. I have no idea what the hell was going on. How they were scoring points, I have no idea. I was more watching it going, what the fuck am I even watching here? I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, I'm going to look it up to see what's going on here. And then I said, no, I think I like it better that I don't know what the hell's going on, because I wanted to see if I could figure it out. At one point, I thought I figured it out. And then they were like, and I'm like, oh, that's a great shot. The guy was like, that's a terrible shot. And I'm like, no, I have no idea what's going on. So I fall asleep with this fucking thing on. If you guys know what the hell indoor bowl is. Anyways, I wake up and there's Vietnam and Thailand, 3 women on each team, playing like a volleyball game with their feet. It was feet only. The game is called like Sock Gem Tom Some. It's like a long title. I was like,
are you sure was that YouTube or PornTube?
It's on YouTube. And I'm like, and these were like not very attractive Asian women, I will say. And if anyone's Asian out there, you know what I mean. They're not attractive. So anyways, but they're kicking everything with their feet. And it's like, what the fuck am I watching here? Anyways, I have no idea. And again, I close my eyes and go back to sleep. Now I wake up and they're playing a game where they're taking like squares like this and it's like got a country road on it. And they're putting it down and it's like some Dungeons and Dragons looking type game. And it says the World Championship. And I'm like, they found 2 douchebags in the world that play this game. And this is the World Championship. Again, I fall asleep only to wake up in the morning. Ready for this one, guys? The World Championship of Othello. This guy's putting a black tile down and flipping over the other whites to the blacks. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They couldn't make this game popular when it came out.
So let me ask you this question.
No, I'm not psychobabble.
The 2, so the Othello it's 1 against 1 at the end, right? It wasn't like a team thing.
No, it's 1-on-1, just like the game of Othello when you were a kid.
So,
the horrible game of
competitors flew to that location, booked hotel rooms, got in the day before, warmed up for the championship.
I think all their travel was included. Unbelievable, huge event that 3 people witnessed. And last night, or a couple of nights ago, I was one of them. I couldn't believe this was in existence. The World Championship of Othello. Meanwhile, 99.9% of the world's going, what game? What the fuck is it? It's Othello, folks. Then the next day, after I got up, I went to the gym, I came back home, and I just looked at YouTube for a second, and there was a guy explaining that game with the tiles, explaining how this game is played. And literally within 2 minutes, I'm like, this fucking game sucks. And somehow there's a world championship of it, of 2 dudes. You had to see this game, though. It was like, the production value is literally somebody's phone on the table. Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. Better than World. No, I'm telling you, this was, I don't know, cornholing might be better to watch. Mikey, you're from England, aren't you? Do you know what the game is? Indoor bowl? BOWL? I mean, and the guys are wearing like Izod shirts. Honestly, it looked like the uniforms were very similar to what they wear in competition darts. And I don't know if you guys read GQ magazine. Some of the best dressed men in the world play darts.
Indoor bowls, plural.
Oh, it's bowls.
Yeah.
Oh, you're from Texas, Mikey. Okay. Oh, it's the other Mikey that's from England. First I Look at the Purse, a song written by Smokey Robinson. All right, what actually goes on in this game? Do they say?
It looks like curling without ice and brushes.
It's so weird. First of all, I'm telling you, 2 guys make the same shot. One guy's like, that shot was brilliant. The other one, like, I'm like, oh, that one looks good. They're like, and that one's terrible. I'm like, what?
Is it the closest guy to the little yellow ball? That actually looks pretty cool. I would do this.
I watched it for a good half hour. Like I said, I was trying to figure out. I didn't know if it was closest because one guy hit the ball and they were like, ooh, that's unfortunate. I'm like, what? I thought that's the goal. I have no idea. Indoor bowls, but the crowd, it was hugely crowded. I'm like, people are going up. Hey, what are you guys doing tonight? Well, we're going to go out and go see a band. What about you guys? We're going to the indoor bowls competition. Oh,
I'm
that
gonna
ought to be
say
good.
what I just saw very briefly. It doesn't look. It looks like something I would do and maybe enjoy. It doesn't look
You might. I
stupid.
had no idea, but like I said, when I watch it, you have no idea what the rules are.
No, of course not.
No, it's. I also watched. You know what I think might have started it. I'm thinking that at first I thought when I started this, it might have been that the first thing I said. But now that I think about it, I did watch a knife throwing competition. That was boring.
You know that. Well, Dave knows. I don't know if anybody else knows. I'm a very avid, probably 3 to 4 day a week squash player. I play squash. I'm in leagues here. I actually played double squash the last 2 nights. I've got a singles match tomorrow night. It's something I've done I did it when I was a kid and then quit for a long time and then started up again maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago. So if you read the history of the game, it started out as another game called rackets. And it was invented in English prisons. And there's still maybe 3 or 4 rackets courts left in the whole world. And if you find it on YouTube, the game looks insane. It's 2 guys hitting a ball against a gigantic wall, but the ball, I think it's as hard as a rock.
Oof.
And there's a guy up in the top, like after every shot saying, go, go. Like he has to announce that you can hit. And if he sees somebody's going to hit somebody with the ball, he does, I don't know if he says stop or whatever, because I think this thing would kill you if it hit you. And it looks like it's in a giant, I don't know how to even describe
And
this.
before they play, they sing the corporate anthem.
I don't know.
That's rollerball.
Yeah. But this is.
So let me ask you, squash. What is the difference between squash and racquetball?
The court size is different by a foot. I think squash court's a foot wider. Not sure about the length. The lines are painted differently. Where a racquetball is about the same size as a tennis ball, give or take, a squash ball is about the same size as a golf ball, give or take. So it's smaller. And if you take a racquetball and you hold it, and you drop it, it's going to bounce right back up to you. It's springy and bouncy. A squash ball is dead. So you drop it, and it goes thud. So
okay.
As you hit it and it gets warm, it actually starts to heat up. It gets a little bouncier. But, with racquetball, you're standing out there and the ball's just flying around. And eventually it's probably going to come back to you, where squash is like placement. They say racquetball's like checkers and squash is like chess. And the other difference is the racket. A racquetball racket's kind of short, where a squash racket's the same length as a tennis racket.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a harder game to play because the ball doesn't bounce. So if you're going to hit a short drop shot up in the front, the other guy has to run up really quick and get it. They rated it as the #1 cardio sport, ahead of rowing, ahead of boxing. You play squash properly for an hour, you're going to get the best workout you can get from any sport. And
I imagine.
Finally, for the first time ever, and they've been fighting for a few years, when the Olympics come here to LA, I think it's 2028, squash is finally going to be an Olympic sport.
It's no longer a vegetable.
It's no longer, well, it's still
or fruit, actually. I think it's technically a fruit, right?
Let me ask a question.
I do not mean highlight. That's a completely different thing. If
highlights with the scoop.
Yeah, with a scoop, and that was run by the mafia in Miami in the 70s. No, not even close.
It's a legitimate business.
Dave, do I get a better workout?
Either way, they're both a racket.
Do I get a better workout playing?
You hear the rest of your life.
Go ahead, Joe.
What's that, Joe?
Do I get a better workout playing squash or watching a Corey Chase video?
Corey Chase is stuck in the dryer. Joe, how can you help her? All right, Joe, what are the lists? Do you have another list for us? How about a good list? Not a quiz, but a list.
Let me see if I have something saved.
Most important band of the 70s. Anything like that?
We could search. Most important or influential?
Important, I think.
Okay.
Influential, you can pretty much come down to who had the most sales, really, right? I mean, because you can think about, is Led Zeppelin the most influential 70s band? Influential? They sold the most records in the 70s. 400 million albums. Right ahead of Pink Floyd and the Stones, I think, are at 200.
Most important rock bands of the 70s. I could only find one list.
All right. How many bands are on there?
Give me a second. It's
compiled
got
it?
the ad blocker. I'm not seeing. They're not ranked by number.
Okay. Is Ario Speedwagon on this list? They shouldn't be.
It looks like it looks like about 25 bands.
Is this Rolling Stone or
No, this is from grunge.com. It's like 2 years old, this list.
the
All right,
Authority?
that sounds good.
Yeah.
The artists who are on this list are the biggest and the best, the ones who still dominate classic rock radio to this day.
Hold on, before we sorry, let me just interrupt real quick. Howie, you told me to watch that Netflix thing, The Greatest Night in Pop.
We Are the World.
Yes.
I watched it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's great.
Did we talk about this yet? Again, did we ever revisit this?
No, but I hate to do this, Dave. I'm going to send you something that I just want you to put in the chat for some of the guys who are still talking about this.
Oh, okay,
The
yeah, but let me
sports
just
thing.
say this.
I'm going to
In
put
the
this.
We Are the
I hate to do that. I know it's rude, but
What do you
the
mean?
rackets thing that I was talking about, I just found a video of a.
Well, where did you send it to me? On Facebook or here in the
I'll send
private
it. I
chat?
can't. I don't know how to post in the damn chat here. I'll have to figure that out.
See the private chat on the far right on StreamYard? It says
I do.
private chat. Just
Right?
click private chat and hit paste right in there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you'll see that. Can you
And
just
Dave-
put that in the
Yeah,
real
you got
chat and everybody can see?
Go
what
ahead,
this
Joe. Do your
crazy-
thing.
Yeah, Dave, if you don't mind, I also
Go ahead,
found
do
the
your
video.
thing.
I found the video with Corey Chase and Leanna Lovings. I'd like to post in the chat too.
Yeah, Leanna Lovins. Gold.
work.
Go.
Anyways, Howie,
Yeah.
my point was that, remember when I said to you I thought they did that at Lion Share Studio?
Right.
That's where the band recorded.
Oh, which they don't. They
They don't
mention-
say, but they actually show the sign out front because
right. and they
I
don't
did
say,
say
and a couple people have commented. They don't comment on the musicians who recorded
that Lewis
it.
Johnson was playing
I
bass.
know, and they don't say. It's so terrible that those guys.
That's how they always do it.
Include. It's horrible.
But I will say this: can we all agree, no matter what, Bob Dylan is one untalented fuck? Can we agree to that? They wanted Dylan to be Dylan. In fact, Dylan, you didn't even need to show up. We got Stevie Wonder doing Bob Dylan better than Dylan. Stevie's showing him how to be Bob Dylan.
Yeah. I know.
It was fucking, I'm like, and I felt bad for Dylan. I'm like, I get it, Bob. You're outclassed. Somehow Rolling Stone magazine has put you on a pedestal, but you're not fooling anybody in the business. You're horrendous. Stevie was fucking unbelievable. Stevie was great. I'll tell you who was great. Steve Perry was fucking unbelievable. I thought everyone did a nice job. I thought, you know what I was really impressed with? I got to tell you. When he sang harmony was Kenny Rogers. I was like, he just fucking jumped in and hit perfect pitch. I'm like, he really is the gambler.
Oh crap! I gave you the wrong link in there.
Oh, okay. Just hit me up with another link in there. I don't know what you gave me, though.
Yeah.
Oh, Lou Reed sucks. Look at Bob Dylan, Lou Reed, Neil Young. These are the hipster doofus people like. If you're a hipster doofus, this is what you're going to think is good. Somebody said to me, I only like one Neil Young song. I said, oh, me too. They're like, I like Needle and the Damage Done. I'm like, that's his worst song. It's like 5 chords that don't belong together. It's like he just sat there and said, I'm going to write a song just following the chords that Mel Bay teaches in order. It's the most non sequitur in chords. Yeah, Neil, that was great. And I thought Huey Lewis did a great job. I mean, you really can see like, and that's what it's like dealing with people like, you know, you got to, you know, when you're producing stuff, you got to get everyone into the same mode. And Some
Okay,
people are
here it is.
disruptive. Some people are fucking fantastic and walk in and just bang it out and leave, a la Steve Perry. And some people get nervous and they just want to do their part. You know, it's funny. It's no matter how. You sent it again?
Here's the link. That's Rackets. Go ahead and try to make fun of that game. It looks insane. It's just crazy. And that ball is rock hard when they're hitting it.
Yeah. Let me just see something for a second. All right.
But no, but
Righty. Okay, Joe. I'm just, who's less? Oh, please. Springsteen is great. I thought Springsteen did a great job then. Now let me explain something to you. Bruce Springsteen, from what's Dancing in the Dark? What's the name of that fucking Born in the USA? From Born in the USA to now, Bruce Springsteen may have produced 5 good songs. I like Secret Garden. I like Streets of Philadelphia. So maybe 5 songs since 1984. Before that, I think Bruce was great. I liked all the albums of the 70s. I like The River from the 80s. I like Nebraska.
The only song I like is Hungry Heart. Other than that,
that's on The River.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's a great song on that album called Stolen Car, which is good. I'm more of a Tom Waits fan. I'm a huge Tom Waits fan. But I digress. Anyways, Joe, let's go on with this 1970. By the way, Tom Waits in the 70s was awesome. Joe, what do you got?
Most important rock bands from the 70s. We're going to start off with Kiss. And the funny thing is, it's not the picture they show isn't the 70s Kiss, because there's Tommy Thayer and whoever the fuck is. It's like, why
Eric
would you do that? Yeah. So we start off with Kiss. Next on the list, and these aren't numbered, we have AC/DC.
Okay. Great band.
So they just announced a tour, AC/DC finally, and it's going to be Matt Laug, who's a friend of mine. I've recorded with him playing drums, and Chris Chaney playing bass on the tour.
Wow.
So basically, you're seeing Brian Johnson and Angus, really.
And Steve Young now
on the other guitar, of course. But
so wait, what happened to Cliff Williams?
He retired, and he said it a while ago that he didn't want to tour anymore, and he's sticking to it. Apparently, I was hoping that maybe they could get him to change his mind, but he didn't change his mind.
You know what?
He's sitting on millions of dollars. He's old. He wants to relax and have a good time.
I mean, I get it, and I love Matt Laug. He's a great drummer and a great guy, but there's a definite certain distinct feel to Cliff Williams and Phil Rudd playing together that's just not going to be there, and it's disappointing.
You have to understand. I put on Pluto TV. There's a channel that's 24 hours Star Trek and another that's 24 hours original Twilight Zone. I don't have time to go on a fucking tour or do nothing else either. I just that's all I ever need.
Right.
I want to fucking retire so I can just sit there and grow into the chair.
Right. And you want to be challenged by the Kobayashi Maru.
I'll beat that fucking thing. Unbeatable? No, fuck off. All right.
Matt Laug, Laug, not Matt Lauer.
Oh, that's what he's doing now?
Right. And I'm Cindy Lauper. You guys remember that movie, Just One of the Guys? All right, go ahead.
Most important bands from the 70s. We got
First of all, AC/DC, I want to say for a second that I don't believe, I think AC/DC being an important band of the 70s is a little commie historian. I think their 70s stuff became way more popular in the States with Highway to Hell 79, but more so Back in Black 80. Then everybody went back to their catalog. But I don't think when when Power Ridge or Let There Be Rock came out, that was considered a big album to anybody. At least not in the States.
No, I agree.
Well, they have 3 paragraphs explaining why they chose it. You want me to read those? We'll be here all night.
No, but I'm saying the reason why it's not right, because I don't believe they were a big band of the 70s. However, their 70s catalog has been since more rejoiced.
Can you paraphrase it without reading every word?
Let's see.
I don't remember the movie. Sorry, got it.
There's nothing really here that disputes what Dave says, and you can add a lot of validity to that.
Mhm.
I think most people got into the 70s AC/DC because of the 80s AC/DC.
I think Back in Black got everybody,
Yeah.
put them on the radar.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. We got Fleetwood Mac next after AC/DC.
Wow.
You saying no?
No, I said wow because the Fleetwood Mac that they're saying is probably the from '75, which is the Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham. Because I would hardly say that Fleetwood Mac, "You Got Me Hypnotized" with Bob Welch was
Well, they're
knocking
bringing
down
up,
pins in the
Yeah, they're bringing up rumors. They got rumors from 77.
'7,
Yeah.
and the eponymous album in '75, and then you have Tuscan '79.
Yeah, all they mentioned is rumors.
Yeah, great album.
Coming up after them, we got ACD. I'm tired. Aerosmith, with actually the first picture of a band from the actual decade they're talking about.
Right. Okay.
Right. Then we go to David Bowie. After David Bowie, we have the Eagles.
Eagles were huge.
Yeah, no question.
Best one so far.
Coming up next, Pink Floyd. They were huge.
Of course.
Huge.
Yep.
Huge.
We got Queen. Huge.
Oh, yeah.
Here's one Dave will disagree with. The Ramones.
What's the title of this again?
The greatest rock band. What is it? The most important rock bands of the 70s.
The Ramones suck. They're terrible.
I know them more from the 80s and the 70s, but okay, we have
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Gina, what's it? Something was a punk. Sheena was a punk rocker. I hate the Ramones. I'm sorry.
Rockaway Beach.
rock,
it's terrible.
babies.
It's
Okay.
listen. They wish they were punk. I'll say this again, folks. I don't care who I offend. There's one punk band that ever existed in the world. It's called the Sex Pistols. They put out one record and they didn't have to put out another record because they're punk. That's it.
I saw them in
The
90.
Ramones to me are like Green Day. I equate them as the same.
Well, without the Ramones, there'd be no Green Day, no Blink 182.
Now, let me-
Well,
Let
then
me-
maybe we should have since someone go back in time and get rid of the Ramones.
Can I touch on this for a second? Because I was about to say, let me read this last sentence to Dave, and pretty much what Jerry is saying is in this last sentence. But I think there's something here Dave would disagree with. He goes, okay, but without these guys, there would be no Sex Pistols, no Clash, no Black Flag, no Green Day, no Offspring, and no Blink 182. Who wants to live in a world so inoffensive? And
The Ramones are older than the Sex Pistols.
I don't.
Oh,
think
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Are they?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about that.
In
Sex
the
Pistols. I think Sex Pistols' first album,
77.
only album, is '77.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you would say that they were influenced by the Ramones. I don't know. And saying somebody's, let me just say this, because I fucking hate this when people say, oh, they influenced everybody in that style. Influence, everything you listen to in your life is influenced. I could work on a song that could be heavy and someone says, well, it wouldn't be heavy if it wasn't for Zeppelin. Really? You don't know that. You don't have a fucking clue. But maybe I haven't listened to Zeppelin or anything like that. I mean, it's not like listening to Catch the Rainbow where you're saying to somebody, have you ever heard of Little Wing? Because it's the same fucking song. We're talking about the Ramones played pop music and the Sex Pistols were punk.
Hmm.
And I'll say I'll put up Pretty Vacant by the Sex Pistols up against any Ramones song.
It's all good. But they're more, in retrospect, they're kind of hard rock. There's way more punk rock bands.
They're hard pop. To me, it's like it's pop music.
Yeah. It's rock and roll, man. It's pisser. I fucking love it.
Dave,
Oh.
who are you? Who are you referring to? Green Day or the Ramones?
The Ramones, they're pop. That's why
Yeah,
it started all the pop.
At that point, I see the argument. When that came out, they weren't considered pop at all. They scared people.
But the Ramones just dressed it up with lack of talent. So let's play it as loud and heavy as possible. That's not what the Sex Pistols did. The Sex Pistols were making social commentary on everything. And it wasn't Sheena was a rich punk rocker. It was she was a girl from Birmingham. She just had an abortion. It was fucking angry fucking stuff. And Johnny Lydon, it was the epitome of, you want to talk about someone who doesn't give a fuck? Johnny Lydon doesn't give a fuck. But the Ramones, it's like, I'm Joey Ramone. I'm Dee Dee Ramone. You're all gay Ramone. I get it. You all gave yourself the same last name. New Yorkers with bad haircuts. I get it. Fuck you and your Yankees. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, there's a good comment from Hanoi Bomb.
Yeah, Hanoi Bomb's a punk fan. Well, he calls himself a punk fan.
That's a great comment.
It is good.
That's a burn.
Rather insightful.
That's a good one.
It's not insightful. One wants to go neck and neck with everything that he likes to me on music. I will crush him
did
like
you
a
go to
fucking
the Circle
bug.
Jerk show at the channel?
Like a fucking bug.
1982? No, you weren't there.
Your wife probably knows more than you about the Super Bowl, Hannah Bomb.
Did you ever see Gigi Allen?
You want to know the secret, though?
Gigi Allen's terrible. That's just a fucking
That's
drug
fucking punk rock, dude.
Listen,
he was a punk. But I don't know if he was talking about social commentary to the effect of what punk was, or if he was just a shitbag.
All the above.
Look,
He exploited
More of
the
a
fucking
shitbag.
genre.
I don't like.
That's all right, Hannah Bomb.
Listen, Dave, I don't like to out people, but I'm going to say it. Hanoi Bomb, I'm sorry. But Hanoi Bomb is actually Al Pacino.
RL says Sex Pistols were anti-Trump. I think Johnny Lydon was pro-Trump.
Play it.
Interviews I saw.
Did you
He
hear
was
what I said?
pro-Trump. Oh, yeah. Well, anyways, Johnny Lydon and Al Pacino both had negative things to say at one time about Trump. And I asked William Friedkin, RL, I said, what do you think about what these guys say?
I don't give a flying fuck into a rolling donut about what Al Pacino thinks.
Oh, actually, Johnny... Hooah! Yeah, no, it was Green Day, RL. Yeah, no, Johnny Lydon likes Trump. He thinks that now, let me just say this about Johnny Lydon. Johnny Lydon was a punk. He was against the machine, against the government, and that motherfucker is still true to it. He sees Trump for what he is, and he's like, this guy's anti-government. He wants to fucking strip it down for the people. And Johnny Lydon's like, the fucking machine, the liberal machine, Democrat machine, is a piece of shit. And Johnny Lydon is still true to a punk. These fucking Green Days boys sitting there, I don't want to be an American idiot, talking about MAGA. Those little fucking faggots are sitting there telling you, oh, take the shot. Take the shot. Listen to what we say about nutrition. Fucking idiots. Oh, no, I saw that, RL.
To quote the another,
They think they're good. Yeah, that's also a problem.
Fuck you.
They're 50-year-old men dyeing their hair wearing eye makeup. It's enough already. Put on a pair of man's pants, boys, and get your guitars in tune. Now, this is not a political show, folks. We never discuss politics here. Make sure you vote Trump in November. Thank you. All right, moving on.
We got two bands left on the list. The two greatest fucking bands ever. Who's up next?
The Led Zeppelin? Oh, they're
No.
Zeppelin and Sabbath.
But not in that order. Yeah, we got
Sabbath
Black
and
Sabbath and
You
Zeppelin.
said it wasn't in order.
Yeah.
Very good.
Elroy Shredding says he loves Pill. What's it all about? The screaming and the shout. Don't ask me, because I don't know.
Now,
Johnny
isn't
Lydon, guys.
Isn't Van Halen really a 70s band? I mean,
100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're missing. Thin Lizzy's missing. Deep Purple's missing.
Foreigner.
UFO, I know you don't like them, but UFO was pretty, at least
Foreigner.
influential. Scorpions.
Scorpions. But I would say, was Aerosmith in there? Cheap Trick should have been in there.
Yep.
Kansas should have been in there.
They weren't considering the European market at all in that list, obviously.
No. But you know what's funny is in the European, because we got a lot of guys from England in here, and most of the things they say to me is Van Halen never did shit over there.
No, that's true.
And they're not really big fans of Van Halen, the guys in England.
Totally true.
But then again, do the English have a sense of humor? No, I'm kidding. I was watching a Christoph's, what's his name? Waltz? What's that guy's name who was in the Inglorious Bastards? Christoph, whatever his name is. And they were asking him what's the between Germans and Austrians. And he's like, the Germans don't have a sense of humor. And he says they're very much in your face, right to it. If they don't like something, they tell you. He's like, Austria, it's like we'll smile and shake your hand and say, I fucking hate that guy. It was pretty funny.
Would you? I know they started in the 60s, but would you put Blue Cheer in that list?
No.
No.
Not as being a big influence in the 70s. Not as much as, first of all, Paul McCartney and Wings, I thought was huge. ELO. If you look at like what's if we watched an episode of, let's just say we just turned on Casey Kasem and it's 1975, what is he going to say? I got a letter from a little girl and she writes this. Casey, I've always listened to your show when I go to bed. Right now I'm rubbing one out with a fucking with a power massager, and I was wondering if you could play for me. Donna Summer, Love to Love You, Baby. And here is Donna Summer. That girl from Roxbury, Dorchester, Massachusetts. Oh, Supertramp's another great one. Alice Cooper, maybe.
I like the Leonard Skinner comment.
Skinner was good. Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Allman Brothers.
Oh, yeah. That's
Who's
definitely
more
70s.
influential, guys? Allman Brothers or Skinner?
Ooh. You're going to go with Allman Brothers. But I like them both.
They were out first.
Allman Brothers were out first. I think Skinner.
Yeah.
Boston's first album is spectacular. Would I put it in my top 10 favorite albums of all time? No, but I think you can't argue it's a great album. There isn't a bad song on it. Their second album has a few good songs, and after that, they're done.
What did that sell?
This Boston album's awesome.
That debut album, how many millions of copies?
I don't know. It's got to be up there. It's a fantastic record. In fact, I think the band Boston, and maybe many people don't know this, only played on one song on that album.
Oh,
Let Me Take You Home Tonight is the only song on the Boston album that features the band Boston. Everything else on that album is the drummer and Tom Schultz and Brad Delp doing everything. A little bit of trivia
On which album?
The first Boston album.
No, Barry Goudreau plays a lot on that.
One song.
I think it's 3 or 4, isn't it?
One song. No, it's all Tom Schultz. He played the keyboards.
I know he plays the keyboards.
He played everything.
How long did it take to put it together? A couple of years?
They had that album recorded before they had a band. When they got the deal, they put a band together, and the label was like, you need one more song, and we want you to come out to LA to record it. So they recorded Let Me Take You Home Tonight. But that album was recorded before they had a band.
Interesting.
Doesn't it? Are you looking it up, Howie?
I'm sorry, looking what up?
The Boston first album.
It's too hard to find that right now, but I've played with...
No, go to your Boston first album, Wikipedia.
I played a few gigs with Barry, and it's been a while since I've seen him, since before the pandemic, but I think he told me that he played on more than one song on that record.
Let's see, background.
I'm with Billy, The Cars. Great one. First couple records.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Recording and production, basement, blah, blah, blah. took the band out.
Yeah, I'm reading it too.
Yeah, let's go to just personnel.
It credits him as lead and rhythm guitar and did the solos on both Long Time and Let Me Take You Home Tonight.
Oh, okay, they dubbed a solo in.
And I remember him telling me that he played on quite a bit of it.
You know what song I love by Barry Goudreau was Dreams on his solo album?
Yeah, it's great.
Great.
And that RTZ thing that they had with Brad Delp, There's Another Side, that was a great song too.
Yeah, the piano player, I've done many gigs with him, Brian Mays from RTZ.
Oh, okay.
Good dude. Little River Band. I love the Little River Band. In fact, I always refer to them as the Australian Eagles. Highly underrated band.
Hit after hit after hit after hit.
Just great, though. But even the deep cuts, all of them, their stuff is good. But yeah, I know that the Boston record that Tom produced everything except for Let Me Take You Home Tonight. It was all done at his home studio.
Billy,
He may have done some overdubs
Humble
after.
Pie.
Humble Pie is 30 Days in the Hole, Steve Marriott.
Great number.
Yeah. I love Steve Marriott's voice.
Yeah.
I loved him when I know Howie's favorite song by Steve Marriott singing. Not that band, but his band, the Small Faces. Off to Bridge of Sighs to Ichigo Park. We go. What would you do then? I got high. Right? You love the Blue Murder version.
John Sykes' version, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's how I know you. I knew you'd love it because of Good Times. Good Times is a great song by Chic. It's also a great show.
I love JJ. Dynamite.
Yeah. And, there's a story. Esther Roll, they said, listen, we're killing off James, so you're going to have twice the amount of work to do, but you're not going to get paid more.
Damn.
I love that bit. Rod Stewart was great. You know what I love by Rod Stewart? There's a great song on Blondes Have More Fun called Ain't Love a Bitch. I always thought that should have been his biggest song.
It's true.
Great song. It's a great tune. And what was Blondes Have More Fun? Is that 78 with Do You Think I'm Sexy or 79?
It's somewhere
78, I'm going to guess.
A lot of these bands we're talking about, I don't understand. We're just all mentioning bands that we like from that era, but the list was, it used the word influential. So like, I never really heard anybody go, oh my God, I just saw Little River Band. I got to go buy a guitar and start making music. Like that just wasn't really.
Well, it definitely didn't, maybe not to play, but maybe
or
I just heard Little River Band.
Cars. Oh my
I'm going to go get a boat and get on the water.
I just saw Ben Stiller play. I got to go buy a guitar and get into rock music.
Well, Allman Brothers did that to people.
Of course they did.
Yeah. So.
Allman Brothers. Now, what was this Allman Brothers you talk about? Is that a band?
Yeah. There's that.
Yeah, Rod Stewart, I would say. In fact, I would say Rod Stewart was influential, and I think the Black Crowes drew a lot from that, but I think they blew it out of the park. I think if you go back to Rod's thing and you listen to old Rod Stewart, you're going to be like, God, he wishes he was the Black Crowes. I love that second album of theirs, the Southern Harmony.
Yep, very good. Guys,
unfortunately, I'm going to have to sign off now, so I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we're almost. Oh, we are. It's 10:30 anyways here.
Yeah.
But we'll it's time. Say it like the Pink Floyd, The Wall. Time to go. Time to go. Jerry, thanks so much for coming on. I was wondering where you've been. How's everything going? You're growing some facial hair. You look good.
Well, yes and no. Mowing it down. I'm doing my program. I've been walking twice a day now and zero carbs. So that's where I'm at.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So Joe recently has switched to zero carbs. We're going to see him as the incredible disappearing man over the next 2 months.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, so do
Proud
I.
of you, man. Very good. Good stuff.
And Howie, do you have a YouTube thing or any presence that you want to, or any social media you want to direct people to that can follow you and your
I got
antics?
nothing. I don't want
Antics.
anybody. I don't want anybody following me anywhere. Stay the fuck away from me.
Now, Howie, today I was like, for some reason, I'm thinking of an everlasting gobstopper, and I couldn't think of why. And then I remember it's because I saw that picture of you looking like Willy Wonka with your girl there that you posted today.
That was my last minute makeshift Halloween. I got to get a Halloween costume. I'll buy a hat. Okay.
Yeah, that and I was thinking to myself, he's got a golden ticket. He's got a golden twinkle.
I believe on the
in-
package for that hat that I posted on my Facebook page today with my girlfriend, it said steampunk hat, and it was like $20. So that
I didn't even see that part. Anyways, folks, if you want to follow Howie, he doesn't have anything, just please go on YouTube and try to watch anything Carol Channing, and that'll please him very much.
Oh.
Meryl.
I'm getting a message. Next week's guest going to be Carol Channing.
We're exhuming Carol Channing.
We're
She's only been dead for 5 years, folks. We're going to exhume her and ask her all kinds of questions of the antics between her and Lauren Tews. Is it Tews or Tweez? What was her name on
I think it's
Love Boat?
Taze. I think it's Taze. It's pronounced-
Lauren Taze?
Yeah.
Either way, Julie McCoy, the cruise director. We're going to have all kinds of stories about her from Carol Channing next week, folks. Meryl. Oh, Meryl. When Meryl Steubing played, Kevin McLeod played his brother. He played a twin. He was Meryl and Marshall Steubing. That's what I'm saying. Was I a fag before puberty? Were we all fags? I'm sitting there. What the hell's going on? I used to think Monroe was fucking talented. All right, folks. We'll be seeing you. Joe, we'll see you next week. Jerry, try to make it next week. And Howie, we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right, everyone. Very
See you,
good.
boys.
Have a great
Take
night,
care.
everyone. And let me find my outro. Here we go. Very good.